Hi there, hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. This is a platform where we take care of every aspect of your preparation, no matter what it is that ails you, no matter what it is that worries you. We are there to help you all your requirements of preparation under one roof. So you've been on a app, you've it. Why is my connection getting disrupted repeatedly? Let me just give it a quick glance. Nope, everything is all right at my end here. So I'm a little amused why the connection is getting dropped repeatedly, but that's okay. There are days when that happens in live sessions. There are things that go beyond our control, I reckon. So let's go ahead and dive into it now. So let's talk about our preparation, and let's talk about our plan, and let's take care of all of these concerns of yours. So here it goes. So first up, since we are talking about people who are struggling because they have job or maybe studies, let us look at the kind of percentage that you have in top IIMs of freshers versus work experience. Now the whole point here is that, see, if people with work experience really struggle to prepare along with their work, if people with work experience find it very hard to get into the colleges, then it should reflect in their proportion in the college. But here are those proportions. So some numbers for to begin with. So 40% of the students who apply to the CAT are freshers, whereas 60% of the people who apply are working professionals. You work for a few years, you want to grow, you hit that glass ceiling, and then you realize that, oh man, I need to do something in order to go beyond it. Okay, now within freshers, you typically see people who are in the final year of their graduation, but the results are not yet announced, and then there are also people who write it immediately after their final year. So there are people who are studying in the final year, so they have to manage final years plus their preparation, and then there are people who, once they graduate, so the results, the exams, etc., typically in India happen somewhere between April to July. So once they are done with this, then for the next few months they are devoted solely to their CAT preparation. So these are people who may not really need this session, but the rest of you working and who are in the final year will definitely need it. And then similarly, if I dive into the work experience, professionals with work experience, you'd see typically they have 1 to 6 years of experience, and some of the top B schools actually give you some extra weightage for that work experience. So in that overall selection matrix, there are marks assigned to different things. So there are certain marks assigned to your CAT score, certain marks assigned to your academic credentials. Similarly, there are certain marks that are given to your work experience as well. So to some extent, in a way, you get a head start when you have a work experience. So let's continue to dig deeper into this. So freshers versus work experience in the top IIMs. So the column at the bottom is basically freshers, okay, this deepest purple, which is not very visible against this background. But then come to think of it, and this slide will actually take care of a lot of other concerns of freshers too. Sir, I don't have work experience, can I get into the college? Dude, almost 40% of the students in IIM Ahmedabad were freshers. So I think IIM Bangalore at times can be a little challenging for people who are freshers, but even there almost 20% people are freshers. And then you notice people with 0 to 1 years of experience, and then you suddenly see that bump when you have this work experience of 1 to 2 years. So I'd say basically this zone, okay, experience of 1 to 3 years is the experience that will probably contribute the most to your getting into the college. So even if you have, say, it's a sweet spot, okay, if you've applied with 2 years of work experience, That's absolutely awesome. But then when you apply with work experience, that also comes with your challenges. In fact, look at 3+ years of work experience. In fact, in my observation, I've seen anybody who has more than 4 years of experience actually starts struggling when it comes to getting into Indian B schools. Part of the reason could be that somebody with 4 years of work experience will look for a certain type of profile, already working for 4 years, already reached a particular stage, and the college may not have that kind of opportunity available, and consequently, so with that said, so I hope this adequately answers this question, but nonetheless, let's dig deeper and answer it further. So the question that you ask is it necessary to have work experience? No. There are plenty of freshers who do get in. In fact, here is a list of uh, the weightage that is given to work experience in different IIMs. So it is not necessary, but you do get some weightage. So for example, in IIM Kozhikode and Lucknow, you get roughly around 5% weightage in the overall scheme of things to your work experience. Then IIM Calcutta, 8 points out of 90, so it's actually a shade more than 5%. Similarly, at IIM Ahmedabad, you get a rating depending on the number of months of your work experience. In IIM Bangalore, yes, it is distinctly high, but then IIM Calcutta is also relatively on the higher side. So, yep. So, if you look at these top 5 IIMs, they do consider work experience to some extent. Or if I look at some more, let's say if I go to the rung below, here are the colleges that you have. So, IIM Raipur, 8, but Shillong none, Indore none, Ranchi, Trichy, Udaipur somewhat. So yeah, even in these relatively newer IIMs, you'd have this trend of giving you some weightage, but then that weightage given to the work experience does not make a huge amount of difference. So for instance, if you look at this particular chart, what does it tell you? So freshers to 3 years constitute 95% of the batch. 3-year plus only 5%. So yeah, it does reflect it in, but if I look at it holistically, apart from IIM Bangalore, I don't think work experience or a lack of work experience puts you in such a situation that you would think of, hey, I will not be able to cover it up, right? So there is 10% weightage given to the work experience in IIM Calcutta, but then the 10% weightage eventually equates to 12 marks, which basically means that in the CAT exam, if you get 4 extra questions right, you're done. So prepare hard, make sure that you get those 4 extra questions right. Maybe you can cover up somewhat in interviews and VAT through your superior preparation there as well, right? So at the end of the day, it all boils down to performing exceedingly well in the CAT exam. If you do that, you are able to negate the disadvantage created by lack of work experience to a large extent. And in fact, except for IIM Bangalore, I think for the rest of the colleges, you would probably be able to erase it anyway. And I can tell you from experience that it is extremely easy to do. So I teach VARC, I go ahead and write this section with all the gusto. I normally end up getting a great percentile. So only my VARC scores alone usually put me in 85 percentile plus overall. So imagine when you've prepared well, when you have kind of given that kind of effort, you go on and become absolutely amazing. So you got to, as a result, think along those lines and then do that. So if you are a fresher, don't worry, just make sure that you work really very hard. Then if you work really very hard, I am very sure, very confident that you'll be able to overcome that. But people with work experience also have their own fair share of challenges, and their challenges are difficulty in preparation along with their work. So what are the kind of hurdles that they face? So Managing time with their work is one hurdle, and then fatigue, all that effort that you put into your work can also be a spoil sport. So let's dig deep into this. So typically, if you are working, I understand that you'd end up devoting 10 to 12 hours to your job every day. So when I say job every day, it's basically job plus commute, and that takes up a lot. Even in work from home scenarios, there have been organizations where the workload has actually gone up. Uh, on top of that, there are times when the demands come to you on a very short notice. So there are times when you may get a call and say, hey, can you do this within the next 2 hours, or let's make yourself available for a meeting which is a little urgent. So in those situations, planning your day or getting that absolute control over your day is also a challenge. Then at times it also adds to the stress. And if you are stressed already, then picking up more stress, well, that can be a challenge. And then a byproduct of all of these things is the fatigue. You're tired, so you do have time on the weekends, but then you need that me time. You need that time where you are able to pause and catch a breath, so that you recharge yourself for the next week. Not only that, you also have some other social obligations. You would like to meet your friends once in a while, maybe attend some family functions, so all those things. At the same time, yeah, it does sap your energy. So if you start preparing for CAT, you already have that low energy, so you need to probably go ahead and be willing to sap it up even more. Additionally, some other challenges that people face are challenges of willpower and consistency. So willpower, Baba, you have stress, you have lack of time, you have low energy at times, still you need to go ahead and put in that effort. That requires that you dig deep into your inner pool of strength and then put in that kind of effort over the course of months. So we're typically talking about devoting at least 21 hours every week to begin with, right? So it's practically like working 1.5 job extra. On top of that, you also need to be consistent, because if you're not consistent, so say you do devote 21 hours this week, but then the next week you slack off, and then the next week you're able to put in 21 hours, the next couple of weeks your preparation takes a backseat. Those kind of things will not really work. And that is why actually a lot of people start thinking of leaving their jobs and then preparing full time, but that also has its cons. One of the biggest con is that all these premier colleges, when you go there and tell them that you've been preparing full time, they make your life difficult. So converting that call then is going to be a different set of challenge altogether. But that said, can it be done? Absolutely yes. Let me give you an example. Have you seen any person who says that, yeah, I work full time? So I cannot get married. After all, marriage requires effort. Marriage requires giving time to your partner. You've seen that happening. I work full time, so I cannot be in a relationship because that's going to be effort. So the truth is, the people who work full time are at times involved in romantic relationships. I know a lot of people who work full time, but they're married. Eventually, they also have kids. They take care of their family responsibilities. So the deal is, you can take out time along with your work. It's not that you cannot. The only difference is that when you are in a relationship, when you have a significant other or a spouse, that aspect demands time, that takes time from you. But when you prepare for the CAT, your CAT preparation will not call you in the evening and say that, hey baby, let's catch up over a chapter of quant today. No, you will have to take out that energy all by yourself through self motivation in order to devote it to your CAT preparation. So it, to that extent, it just requires a little more by the way of discipline. So one of the key things that I'd suggest is, and I'd keep writing these things down here. One of the most dominant factors that can contribute to your preparation is your habits. So if you have good habits, they'll take you closer to great percentiles. On the other hand, if you have bad habits, they will stop. So start off with this analysis. Now, what is a good habit? So a good habit is a habit that uses your resources. It can be your time, your money, your energy, and takes you towards your goals. Whereas a bad habit is something that uses your resources, once again your time, money, energy, whatever, but it does not take you towards your goals. So first and foremost, we need to check, do we have bad habits? Are there things that we do routinely that are using our resources, but those things are not taking us towards our goals? So for example, I know a lot of people who spend inordinate amounts of time on social media, gaming, movies, Netflix. Hell, somebody like me who loves to read, at times I get into this leisure reading a bit too much, but that's very personal, does not happen to most of you, right? So if you do engage in these things regularly, you may realize that they are not taking you close to your goals. So can we stop these things? Can we focus more on cultivating good habits? So that's number one. Number two, a lot of us also tend to sleepwalk through our life. So can you start living a more organized life where you go ahead and design your to-do lists? What say you? A to-do list? So you know what I do? A few years ago, I wanted to study more about what makes humans tick. So I teach an area where I, of course, take people through classes, but then I want them to take certain actions after the classes as well. I want them to go on and do something after those classes. It's only when they work after my class is over that they can move towards greater success. After all, I teach English. It's mostly a skill. Skills improve through practice. So I wanted to see what I can do to ensure people do study at home. So that quest took me towards things like neuro-linguistic programming. It took me towards things like psychology. So I decided to do an MA in psychology with work through distance learning. So, and I managed it decently well. I studied it for 2 years along with work, and I could clear my exams, all of them, with reasonable scores, not great scores though, but with reasonable scores. And you know what I did? I actually started with a very clear-cut plan. I wrote down an year and I said that, okay, I need to be done with my master's in psychology by this particular year. Okay. Then I jotted down why I want to do it. So I listed down the benefits that will come my way. After that, I went ahead and identified the obstacles, things that can stop me, and whenever I meet any of those obstacles, what I will do. More on this later. But then the fourth step is something that you will find pretty useful. I sat down and made a list of all the chapters plus the projects that I needed to go through in order to get my degree. So this is what we typically call the syllabus. So I knew that I need to go through all of these things in 2 years. For you, in terms of CAT preparation, now can you make a list of all the chapters, units, skills, techniques that you need to learn? You can, right? So once you have that entire syllabus, How about setting a deadline? That hey, by this date I would like to be through with all my syllabus. So in your case it can be something like say 30th of August. So that gives you a deadline. After it, you can divide your syllabus, your learning objectives into monthly targets. Then go on and divide these monthly targets into weekly targets. So why weekly targets? If you start working and then you slack off and you get to realize it only a month later that oh I slacked, then you would have lost a month. That's a bit too much to lose out on. So that's why it is important to divide it all into weekly targets, and every week set this one day for review where you look back and say, hey, have I gone through everything that I wanted to cover during the last week? If not, then you know that you need to up your game further and start maintaining a to-do list for your everyday life. So the idea is that your daily to-do list is in sync with your weekly targets, your weekly targets are in sync with your monthly targets, your monthly targets are in sync with your overall targets, and there are these periodic reviews that you are going through. So all of these things will ensure that the probability of achieving your goal, your targets is significantly higher. So if you wake up one fine day and you do not even know, you know that you're supposed to prepare for the CAT, but you do not know exactly what you plan to do today, then that lack of focus, that lack of clarity can very easily seep into your day. So here is a sample plan for you. So first up, manage your time well, and please do realize that time management is actually not about managing time. Time management is all about managing ourselves to utilize the time productively, to utilize that time in such a way that we are able to get the maximum bang for our buck by focusing on those areas which are high priority for you. Thakur, 77 percentile in CAT, wait for CMAT or apply? As in, I wait for CMAT or apply, matlab? Apply where? So I think, should you apply to those colleges that will offer admission at 77 percentile? See, a college that offers admission at 77 percentile may not have the kind of placement track record that you desire. So I would say that exercise extreme caution if you're thinking of applying to those colleges. My suggestion will be to do sit for CMAT, or maybe do prepare for the CAT again, but getting into those colleges at this juncture may defeat the purpose. Okay, we can talk more on this later. Anyhow, so time management, manage yourself to utilize your time productively. So for the next few months, if you're working or if you're in a strenuous course that takes a lot out of you, cut out all the non-essentials from your life. In fact, even some of those essentials from your life. Remove all the social media from your phone. All the people who are good friends of yours, family members of yours, call them up. Tell them that you are starting your CAT preparation and you need their support. How? You will not be able to reach out to them very often. You'll not be able to take out time for them for the next few months, but you hope that you can count on their support, that even when you are absent from their lives, they do not forget about you. They still have your best wishes in their heart, best wishes for you in their heart. So that's how a day can look out. So we are targeting what, 21 hours a week, which means 3 hours daily on weekdays to be on the safer side. So that's how you can probably create it. So start waking up early. So let's say you need 9 to 7 for your work. So that's gone. But then if I wake up at 5 or if I wake up at say even 6, chances are that I will be able to put in 1 to 2 hours or maybe 3 hours of work in the morning, right? Additionally, you can also maybe take out 1 to 3 hours in the evening. Now, I'm not saying that you'd be able to do it at both the ends. Some of us are night owls, some of us are early birds. So if you're somebody who prefers waking up early, it's probably the morning which will have 2 to 3 hours or 2 hours of effort and 1 hour in the evening. On the other hand, if you're a night owl, you'll probably be putting in 1 hour in the morning and then another 2 hours in the evening after your work. And then you can add to it by carving out time. So between 9 to 7, you need to check, do you have a commute? If yes, then can we do something in that commute? Maybe throw in a bit of reading, maybe a bit of vocabulary, a bit of grammar, maybe a bit of DI and LR, whatever, GK. Can you do something during the commute? Moreover, even in the office, there are times where you may get opportunities to take out some time. So when you're having lunch, nobody minds if you're reading an article over lunch. Now I know that a lot of you may not even want your work colleagues to know that you're preparing for the CAT, but then reading an article, reading a magazine is something that's par for the course. So many of us do have our earphones plugged in all the times, right? So people listen to songs, podcasts. How about maybe listening a bit to vocabularies? Maybe pick up a word list, an audio file of a word list and go through that. What say you? Maybe put in a session or two of grammar on your phone. I'll just make myself a bit smaller so that you can see the slide fully. So you see, and then at 11 onwards you actually go ahead and then you sleep. So you'd probably be getting 6 hours, 7 hours of sleep, which is fine. As long as you're hitting 7 hours, I should be okay. In fact, there was a time when I used to feel even 6 hours is fine, but then I ended up reading this book called Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. And I like, nahi yaar, kam se kam 6 घंटे हो सके तो 7 घंटा 8 घंटा सोना चाहिए. So aim for that, but then bring in that discipline. Cut out time from wherever you can, which is non-essential, and then put it towards things that matter to you. A major chunk of it should be through to your preparation. So that's about weekdays. But during the weekends, I want you to shine. Okay, so during the weekends, I don't want you to take out 3 hours. During the weekend, I actually want you to study for 6 to 8 hours. So 4 hours of preparation before noon, and then 2+ hours of preparation late in the evening. So I remember when I used to prepare, I'm a night owl. Okay, it comes easy for me to study in the nights. So I would typically have my dinner at around 8:15. I would sit to study by 9 p.m. and I would typically used to study till around 1 a.m. sorry. So I had a solid 4-hour chunk here. So the deal is, the moment you are able to put in one 3-hour, at least 3-hour chunk to your preparation, it becomes very easy to reach 6-7 hours. Okay, then just 2 more sessions of 1 hour each and you're done. So try doing that. Try living this particular life. You can take out some time for socializing. Over the last few years, I've realized that apart from that socializing, you also need to take care of your body. So maybe around 30 odd minutes of physical activity, some kind of exercise, maybe twice or thrice a day. Even that's something that's going to be very useful purely from a preparation angle. So get that time management right, okay? Block your calendar, write down the exact things that you want to do, and I am very sure, I'm very confident that it will help you achieve more. Fair enough? And if you are a fresher, or for that matter, if you're somebody who's just about starting, who has started preparation a little while ago, these should be your focus areas across the various sections. So QA. So when it comes to VARC, you know that you need to work on reading speed, you need to enhance your comprehension skills. If your accuracy rate in comprehension based questions is low, you need to practice eclectic reading, okay? Pick up topics from different areas and then devote some time to it. Bit of parajumbles, a bit of parasummary, everything else can take care of itself. DILR, practice solving puzzles, take a 30-minute target each day where you'd sit down and work on 1 to 2 sets. And in quantitative aptitude, it is important for you to focus on arithmetic and algebra. Additionally, practice your calculation skills. So that's about freshers. You're already preparing. You hopefully are also working with us, so that will take you to the next level. But if you are an absolute beginner, then I would like to tell you a little more about the kind of exam that you are targeting, right? So as a beginner, here are the 4 key things that I want you to keep in mind. First up, know the syllabus and the paper pattern. You have done this so far in your life. Whenever you prepare for an exam, you figure out the syllabus. If you don't even know the syllabus, how would you really plan? Once you have the syllabus, come up with a strategy that is built around your unique circumstances, your unique challenges. Okay, so see, I am good at English, but I'm not that comfortable at quant. So if I were to start my preparation today, I'll keep these things in mind. And then at the end of the day, you need to practice a lot. And along with this, so mocks are going to be really important. And at BYJU'S, we do keep on, we have plenty of mocks. Quite a few of those are All India Open mocks, which means that even if you're not a student, you can sit for it. In fact, do you know that we have already conducted one All India Open mock for CAT 24? And along with that, keep a track of your speed and accuracy in different areas, so that you know when it comes to revision, what are those things that you need to focus more on. Now, let's dive deeper into each one of these sections by starting with the overall picture. So you know that you want to get 99 percentile plus in the CAT exam. So I want you to just focus on this column to begin with. So in CAT 23, you needed around 76 marks to reach that level. In 22, it was 82.5. In 21, it was 97. So keep just the last 3 years of data in your mind. Now in the CAT exam, every question carries 3 marks. Okay, so can I say in that in CAT 23 you needed to get how many questions net correct? (26) out of 66. If I talk about CAT 22, how many questions net correct? Say 28. And in CAT 21, how many questions net correct? So can I say that out of 66 questions, if I have to summarize, you are targeting 26 to 32 questions net correct to be in that elite top 1% of the people. You can add roughly 2 to 3 questions more to this if you want to be in that super elite category of top 0.5%. So maybe 3 questions each. So say 29 to 35. Right? So that's what you need to get. And now instead of looking at CAT holistically, you can always look at it section by section. So let's start with VARC. So here is the breakdown of marks versus percentile for VARC. So if you want to get 99 percentile, what do you want? You want to get approximately 13 to 15 questions net correct? And you'd be in the top 1%. And that's where, if you're really good at VARC, so for say somebody like me, remember, all in all, I'm saying that we are targeting 29 to 35 questions net correct to get 99.5 percentile plus, right? Now, I am somebody who would end up getting 18 to 19 questions correct in VARC itself. So what is the gap for me now? How many more questions do I need to now get right? So 10 to 18, and I have 2 sections to do that. So in the remaining 2 sections, even if I get just say 8 to 10 questions right, I am done. I am set up. I've set myself up for a great percentile. So of course, you do need to be mindful of sectional cutoffs. You do need to definitely have 80-85 percentile in every section, no doubt about it. And you can check that through these columns as well. But if you become excellent in one of these 3 sections, it becomes very easy for you to sail through. So if I end up getting say 20 questions right in VARC itself, that's it. I've managed to probably, so that's 60 marks. Let me take you to that overall percentile slide once again. Let's say that I've ended up getting 56 marks overall just from my VARC. I already have, you notice, 90 to 95 percentile. I'm already there. I've already left some 90 to 95% of the people behind. And now I just need to go on and leave 5 more percent people behind, and I'm done. So how do you reach that level through VARC? Well, here you go. Here is the composition of the exam. So you get a lot of reading comprehension. These are the last 3 years, okay? So just focus on the last 3 years. The paper pattern seems to have stabilized in terms of RC. So there are all in all just 5 question types. So you have 5 areas: reading comprehension, para jumble, para summary, paragraph odd sentence out, para completion. That's it. So you just need to devote all your energies towards ensuring that out of these questions, 24 questions, you need to get at least 15-16 of them right, if possible 18-19 of them right. So you're definitely targeting 13 to 15. If English is your strength, maybe even more. So what do you do for reading comprehension? So let's see. At the end of the day, it is a skill. You need to understand the passage and you need to read it fast. So do work on your reading speed. But apart from that, look at this data. 23 out of 56 passages have come from books, Eon essays, and New York Times. Some more passages have come through websites like the Smithsonian, the Guardian, Scientific American. These are the dominant sources. So how about spending a lot of time on these websites and maybe reading books in general? And when you say reading books in general, focus specifically on books that give you passages from, or books that are based on sociology and anthropology, biology with a special emphasis on zoology. Ecology is okay. Ecology is, I mean, if you're reading your newspapers and magazines in general, you are already going to be adequately prepared for that. But philosophy, yes. Psychology, yes. So do spend time on reading these stuffs through books or through these websites. Apart from that, of course, do practice RC passages consistently. Similarly, when it comes to verbal ability, at the end of the day, you realize all the questions are paragraph based, so you need to have a super understanding of paragraphs. And those paragraphs also are created from certain special areas, certain special subject matters, and here they are. So you are already reading first and second and fifth for RCs. You just need to add a little more of literature and linguistics, culture and lifestyle, and you're done. Okay, so that's for verbal ability, and apart from that, as I said, do practice these questions. Okay, then let's have a look at DILR. So if you want to be in the top 1% of DILR, what do you need to get? Just looking at the last 3 years. So can I say we are basically targeting 10, 11 questions to be in the top 1%? So in order to get those 10, 11 questions, you need to know the syllabus. So what kind of things have been tested in the DILR section of the CAT over the years? So here are 11 of them. So you get a fair bit of reasoning based DI. In fact, last year we had a fair bit of reasoning based DI in the exam. But apart from that, matrix and grid, matrix arrangement, Venn diagrams, scheduling, some hybrid options. Then mathematical analytical reasoning is gaining importance in the recent past. Then the conventional ones, order and ranking, missing data, arithmetic, logic based caselet. Here are some more. Okay, roots and networks, Gantt charts, maxima minima, algebra caselets, arithmetic caselets, DI based on statistics, and some miscellaneous different kind of charts and graphs, etc., that you would probably not be able to classify. They are one-off cases. So in a way, can I say that you have 17 chapters to go through? And out of these 17 chapters, these should be your priority. So can I highlight these, that okay, start with these things, because these are quite dominant. And once you become good at these, it becomes easy for you to tackle the rest of them, because you develop that structured way of thinking here. So the more of these chapters you go through, the more of these chapters you go and master, the higher the probability of getting those 11, 12, 13 questions right from DILR. Now the difficulty level. If you look at the previous year question papers, the difficulty level has been on the higher side. So look at this. It's unlikely for you to find things which are easy, particularly in the last couple of years, particularly last year. So chances are that you need to prepare for a level where you can tackle even those sets which are difficult or moderate to difficult. So merely going through those 17 chapters will not suffice. You need to go ahead and master each one of those 17 chapters. Okay, so that's 2/3 of you. So start with these so that you are able to master almost 16-17 questions asked in the chapter, and if you ace them, you can reach that level of 90 to 95 percentile, maybe even 99 percentile. And when you go ahead and add more of the chapters in the mix, that 99 percentile will practically be guaranteed for you. And then let's dive into our quantitative aptitude. So once again, marks versus percentile, last 3 years, this is what you and I are looking at. So 9 to 12 questions net correct is what we are after. So where will these 9 to 12 questions come from? Let's have a look at an analysis of the previous year papers. So just look at the last 3. Okay, Prior to that, the overall the number of questions were different, the paper pattern was different, so it may not be a truly reflective picture. But as you can see, the area that contributes the most to our exam is arithmetic, closely followed by algebra. So you absolutely need to be a boss of these two areas. Thereafter, the next two are geometry and mensuration plus number system, and then modern math. So modern math does get asked in quite a few of these other non-CAT exams very frequently. In the CAT, the numbers have sort of been on the lower side. Okay, so there are times when they ask it, there are times when they don't. So even if you have learned the basics, I think you should be good to go. So let's dig deeper now. Let's pick up each one of these major modules, arithmetic, algebra, etc., and see what exactly gets asked within these. So when I say arithmetic, over the course of last decade or so, this is the total number of questions. So this is the total number of questions that were asked from arithmetic. The average number of questions from arithmetic per slot is 9.25, which gives you this weightage, but ignore all that. Focus on specifically what gets asked within arithmetic. So lot of questions from time and distance, time and work. Lion's share here. Followed by averages. Followed by profit and loss and mixture and allegations. And then ratios, simple interest, compound interest, percentages. I think percentages is anyway a foundational chapter. You will find it useful in profit and loss, maybe mixtures and allegations. So you definitely need to master it. But these are the specific chapters of arithmetic that we want you to focus on. So one chapter at a time, just go ahead, read it, master it, and you should be done. Then algebra. So quadratic equations and sequence and series, giving you the lion's share there. Followed by logs and functions and linear equations. A bit of inequalities, a bit of special equations, and occasionally, rarely, algebraic identities and standard results. So that's what you need to master algebra. And these number of questions basically are there to tell you that, see, this is your priority order. Okay, start here and then make sure that you go on to master it. Thereafter, geometry, lot of questions on triangles, quite a few on polygons, coordinate, area and volume. I personally love this, but it has not been contributing a lot of questions of late. So that is that. Quadrilaterals, lines and angles. Somehow, again, this is something that I am sad about. I like it, but they've not been asking very many questions from it. But then you have number theory, you have a bit of modern math. Within modern math, these are the things that they get asked, that they generally ask. So make sure that you go on and work on all of these chapters one by one, day in and day out, week after week, and that should help. So here is a preparation plan for each one of these areas for you moving ahead for CAT 24, starting with VARC. So within VA, we get all of these paragraph based questions, but those paragraph based questions do depend on your understanding of grammar, your understanding of vocabulary. Okay, so maybe around 15 to 20 minutes of grammar a day, 15 odd minutes of vocabulary a day, and the rest of the time spent on learning about the concepts of paragraph based questions plus practice. So I'm saying if you target around 8 hours every week for this, you should be good to go. Do grammar and vocabulary every day, and then for paragraph based questions, just pick up one particular question type at a time and then work. Then when it comes to RC, so you need to engage in reading, you need to master different concepts, you practice. So when I say reading, reading basically is reading itself. So that's one. Then reading basically means working on your speed, working on becoming better at creating overviews, and maybe if required, probably putting in some session that specifically helps you enhance your level of comprehension. So all those things there. And then concepts, there are roughly around 20 different question types. So I want you to focus on those question types one at a time. Once you've mastered that, you can go ahead and become better. And even here, I want you to prioritize some question types. Okay, so main idea questions, that's one that you need to prioritize. Thereafter, you have we get these inference based questions get asked a lot. Okay, so make sure that you master those. So these should be high priority question types for you. And then practice, where I would expect you to put in at least 10 passages a week for the time being. As the weeks and months go by, you would like to increase this time. So all in all, roughly another 8 hours every week for RC. Then taking you over to DI and LR. So in data interpretation, you need to focus on different types of visual representations of data. Along with that, you need to focus on calculations. So around 9 to 10 hours a week for this, ideally. And then when it comes to LR, you have puzzles, you have Venn diagrams, etc. You have arrangements and DI based logical reasoning. So maybe another 9 to 10 hours a week of time devoted to this. And finally, if I talk about quant, you have arithmetic, algebra, geometry, numbers, modern math, 5 basic modules. Okay, so roughly around, pick up any one of these modules. My suggestion is that you start with arithmetic, and then maybe if you are not that sound at basics, probably pick up numbers and then algebra. And you should ideally be devoting around 9 to 10 hours every week to this. So that's something that you would continue to do till around August. But after August, once we reach September, once we reach October, in those last 2 months, instead of focusing on getting new concepts, acquiring new concepts, you should be focusing on practicing a lot. You should be writing a lot of mocks. You should be analyzing those mocks to figure out what it is that is still lagging behind and that you need to take care of. Okay, and if you do that, you definitely be able to move towards an absolutely sensational, absolutely great performance. Okay, and in order to help you with all of this, we have this very thorough CAT 24 program where you get a lot of things. You notice more than 150 live sessions, more than 80 mocks for the CAT as well as the other exams. So there are 25 CAT mocks. Now, apart from live sessions, we have added 300 odd videos that cover the foundational concepts of every topic. Okay, and you have a guided plan for you. There are these workshops that are available, more than 10,000 practice questions, then previous year questions along with the solutions. We've taken care of everything. And mind you, this program is not limited to just the CAT. When you join us, you also get access to VAT and PI. When you get calls, we will help you with interviews and VAT as well. So if you need to reach out to us, you want to know more, you can always just press that button called Talk to Our Counselor, and you're good to go. And you know, CAT admissions can at times be a mystery. There are a lot of different things that go into it. So your CAT score / percentile is one. Then your academic background, your work experience, your gender. So academic performance plus diversity. A lot of things. So that can at times put you in a fix. You would not know what to do, what not to do. So where you stand today and what should you expect during this process, if you want to figure all of that out, please use. We have this tool called CAT College Predictor. This tool is based on your profile. Okay. So at what kind of percentile should you expect calls from what kind of which particular IIM? If you want to know all that, you can just go ahead to this byju's.com/free/cat college predictor, put in your profile there, and the board that you are from, the stream that you're from, the gender that you have, and we'd be able to give you a very accurate input in terms of what kind of percentile would you require. And it is based on tons of data that we have gathered over the years with actual aspirants. So do that, and they'll give you an even clearer indication of what sort of performance is expected from you in these exams. So please make use of all of these tools, and I'm sure that will help you a lot in your journey. That's it from me today. I look forward to meeting you in my next session, which is at 1 today. So if you want to practice a bit of English, get a heads up on your preparation, join me there, and it'll be an absolutely sensational thing to see you there, to meet you there. Okay, so for more practice, join in. But that's where I'd stop today. I look forward to meeting you once again in my next session at 1. Until then, have a great day and a great week ahead. Hope this session helps you to plan your preparation well. If you still have any more questions, don't hesitate in reaching out to us through that talk to our counselor button. We would love to sit down with you one-on-one and discuss your preparation in greater depth. Catch you later.